The question to start is, what is the Super Bowl you're rooting for?
The one I'm rooting for.
Not the one you think's going to happen.
Washington, Kansas City, honestly, because listen, I'm rooting for a Washington team this year. They did something special. I want to see that thing go over the top. But in order to really put that stamp down, Jaden doing it against Mahomes and winning against Mahomes, that would be a whole new, hold on, has he taken the stage from him? And now we're starting to talk about where Mahomes was whenever he was taking the stage from Brady. You start getting that conversation going. So I am rooting for that because I want to see that. So that's what I'm rooting for, Kevin.
Okay.
Is the Washington and Kansas City. Mostly I want to see Kansas City, that storyline of trying to get the third one, but I also want to see the rookie try to win a Super Bowl. I think that's special.
Alec, what are you rooting for the Super Bowl matchup?
I'm rooting for the same exact matchup as you. I do want to see the Bills and the Commanders go at it. One, because screw Philly. And two, I talked about it a little bit yesterday. I just love the coach and the human that Dan Quinn is.
Yeah.
And I think it would be a lot cooler to go buy trading cards from him this weekend if, I'm telling him that I'm hyping him up to make the Super Bowl. But mainly because I have no idea who would win that game. I feel like the other matchups, I at least have a gut feeling. In that one, I have no clue because the Commanders have shown you some really amazing things. They've shown you some really bad things this season. And that Buffalo defense is still very sketch to me. So I have no idea who would win that game. And I feel like I would be the most locked in on that matchup.
Some very fair points here from the 972. Don't tell Wolchuk you hate the Chiefs. And from the 682, nah, you hate the Chiefs, man. Be honest with yourself. I do not hate the Chiefs. What I hate is this idea that they run a squeaky clean organization. That's my only issue. Because if people think the Cowboys are a trash organization because they put trash out on the field and they think they run their salary cap stupidly and they can't find that's all fine. I don't have an issue with any of that, and the Chiefs do that so great. But when people are like, the Cowboys are trash because I think Jerry Jones has a secret daughter. Okay, fine. But then you should also think the Chiefs are trash off the field because some of the really awful things that they've been involved with. That is my only point of contention about that. All right.
Kevin, I also have
that massage person?
No, but I also, as I was looking through, I have a Brandon Hurtado. He works at Hurtado, so I think that's why I left Hurtado on there for Brandon.
Okay, but it's not just a worker at Hurtado named Brandon, because then you'd have to put that in parentheses.
I think that's what it is. Yeah, he works at Hurtado, so I just left it as Brandon Hurtado.
I think that is actually his name.
What?
Here's how the votes are going.
He makes good barbecue.
How many states out of 50 do you think are rooting for the Eagles?
0. Pennsylvania.
Okay, well, yeah.
3.
Okay.
1.
3 is the correct answer. Pennsylvania's 1. Since you said it, Alec, now I'm going to put you to the test. What are the other 2 states that are rooting for the Eagles?
I'm going to say a state south of Pennsylvania and then a state west. I don't know.
I'm going to need you to be more specific than a vague geographical description.
I have no clue. Maybe Nevada. Why not? Because Vegas.
You should have stuck close. Delaware and New Jersey.
Nobody lives there.
It's fair.
Well, New Jersey, a lot of people live there.
I've been to Delaware. Not a lot of people live there.
Nobody
That's
even
fair.
knows.
All right, so Delaware, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. How many of the 50 states do you think are rooting for the Chiefs?
Probably 3.
Oh, still low.
Yeah, because I think that people are kind of tired of the Chiefs at this point.
Maybe I'd go more like 20.
Well, Alec, you're going to look really foolish on this one because the answer is 4.
Wow. We're both idiots.
Iowa.
I'm okay with that.
Kansas, Missouri, and Nebraska. So obviously proximity
furniture store
is really taken over. That's true. For the Commanders, it ups to 10. And if you want to throw in Washington, D.C., I would assume is rooting pretty heavily for them.
Why don't we make that a state? Just so it's not confusing to the elementary kids.
That's fair. But then you got to let them get their voting representation in as well.
Why don't we let them have that?
Look, that's That is a great question. That's probably not for us to disseminate right here and right now. So the Eagles, 3 states are rooting for them. The Chiefs, 4. The Commanders, 10.
Good
and
night.
The Commanders are the first team that really picks up like your random outlier states. We're like, hey, we're just rooting for them because we like them. That means all the other states, 33 other states, are rooting for the Bills. So 2/3 of the states are rooting for the Bills. 1/3 are rooting for all the other teams combined.
Listen, man, that Bills Chiefs one is very difficult to pick when it comes to the rooting interest because the Bills team is very fun. Their offense is an absolute blast. They play the game the way you want to see the game be played. So like that one, that is a very thin margin, Kevin, for the one I want to see being the Chiefs. It's very thin between Buffalo and Kansas
Okay, I got that. And I just wanted, if you need another reason to root for the Commanders, I don't know that you do, but if you want to, look at the story of Jonathan Allen. So Jonathan Allen was told in October, you're done for the rest of the year because you have a torn pectoral muscle. That, I mean, we see that all the time. Injuries are devastating in sports. But then when they went, you know how we talk about like, oh, the surgery went well and everything like that.
Yeah.
So doped up on anesthesia and in the post-operative recovery room, Allen heard the surgeon say that the muscle was only 20% torn. But is that real?
Only 20.
Yeah. Well, woohoo. But is that really what happened? Or was he drugged up and thinks that what happened? So it took him a minute to, I mean, if you've ever had surgery, I'm sure it takes you a little bit to get back to like feeling your full senses. And he was like, hold on. Talked to the surgeon again. The surgeon said, yes, that is correct. So he's back this season playing right now. And the doctors have said, hey, I hear you, but you probably still shouldn't be playing because you could re-tear it. You could tear the whole thing. You could face another injury and all of that.
Be careful, man.
And he said, that's fine. And he goes, it's their job to protect me. And he goes, it's not my job to protect them. And he goes, so I'm going to go out there and I'm going to play. And then just think about how impressive this statement is. I'd be lying if I said it was easy, but if it was easy, everybody would do it. Pec or no pec, everybody at this point of the season is beat up and hurt and playing through something.
Mike, throat or no throat.
His surgically repaired pec that the doctor's like, hey, you can play. Maybe you shouldn't play. And he's like, no, man, we're in the NFC Championship game. I'm going to play.
I'll pay you for another surgery, Doc. Don't worry about it.
Yes.
Once I get this Super Bowl under my belt, though.
And by the way, if you need more respect for him, I think he's out of or almost out of guaranteed money left on his contract. So, like, if they were to move on from him after this year, it's like a $6 million dead cap charge. I'm not saying that would happen, but even more impressive that he's like, I'm covered for a couple more years. He's like, no, I might need to get paid after this year.
Kevin, I know we're kind of sitting here saying and suggesting the only real thing that is true, though, is that the Eagles are going to the Super Bowl.
Okay.
And do you want to know why?
Probably we should. Personally, I don't, but that's also the Super Bowl I did pick. I think we're going to get is Philly and Buffalo. I hope I'm wrong about that.
In 1984, Vic Fangio was a defensive assistant for the Philadelphia Stars. The Stars won the USFL championship that year. He was a defensive consultant with the 2022 Eagles. The Eagles won the NFC championship and then lost the Super Bowl to the Chiefs. And now he's their defensive coordinator.
Oh.
Anytime that Vic Fangio has been associated with Philadelphia teams, they have gone to the Super Bowl. So that's the way that this one's going to go, man.
Okay.
It's all on the shoulders, the sturdy, meaty, girthy shoulders of Vic Fangio.
I don't know if I love all of that, but I'm going to say the Super Bowl we do get. So my prediction is I'm going to go Philly, Buffalo. I hope I'm wrong. We said what you're rooting for. What do you think we're actually going to get Super Bowl?
I think we're going to get that's that one.
Philly, Buffalo?
I do think we're going to get that. I am very curious, and Sean keeps bringing it up. I'm very curious the extent of the injury to Jalen Hurts. They done a very good job of keeping that. But, man, at the end of that game, he didn't look like he was as capable of doing the things that he wanted to do. And I'm very curious how much that's going to limit them.
Okay.
And if Washington can go out there and be themselves, that's going to be a tough game. But I think they have the better talent on that team right now.
Alec, what say you?
I think that we are going to get Kansas City, Philadelphia. I just think that the Chiefs are inevitable at this point, as much as I've gotten off that bandwagon and don't really enjoy watching them make it every single year anymore. I think it's going to happen again, and I think Philly is just more well-rounded, unfortunately, on the field, that they're going to get it done.
I think I would be pretty jazzed up for the Washington Kansas City Super Bowl, because one way or another, whether it's first rookie quarterback to make it to the Super Bowl, let alone perhaps win the Super Bowl, or your first ever Super Bowl three-peat. I think that would be pretty cool. For Philly and Kansas City, I'd be like, I
will say this. Adrian's excited.
For the Chiefs.
She's like, do you think she's going to be in New Orleans that week?
Yeah, I do.
I'm like, we never saw, because Kevin, we didn't see her in Vegas because she was still on tour.
True.
Now her tour's over. She can do whatever she wants.
That is true.
She can spend the whole week at Jackson Square with us.
I mean,
that's in New Orleans.
We'll see.
Who knows?
We can make that happen.
It could be her.
Okay.
It could be anybody. It could be Shaq. Nobody knows who we might see on Radio Row.
Mm-hmm. All right, so be on the lookout if you go to New Orleans for Taylor Swift and Shaq. Apparently, that's who we need to be on the lookout for.